bit. Okay, cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 6 or 7. Episode 6 of Between Two Sprouts. This
You
is
usually you
Yeah.
usually see it like people they make those YouTube series. They're like, yeah, I think this is episode 324, but we're like episode 6. Like, is it 6 or 7? Like we're not supposed to lose count already.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we had a little break, didn't we, Rusty Boy? We had a break for like, well, all over Christmas, didn't we? Where I think we had one in late November or early December, and then that was like sort of it. We took a little Christmas break, but we are now back. Oh yeah, because I was doing my 12 Days of Savage as well, wasn't I? So that was gonna impact things. So
yeah,
sorry, but hardcore content comes first.
And then it was my birthday. Both of our birthdays.
Both of our birthdays, which I didn't really think about at the time, but so both of our birthdays are December 29th. And I didn't realize until the day, I was like, oh, everyone's going to think that we're scamming them. Like, people were commenting in my Twitch chat, like, is it really both of you guys' birthdays? Like, is it really? And I was like, oh, yeah, that is a little bit sussy, isn't it, Russ? Can we explain that out anyway? Like, do we have any excuse as to why we both started Final Fantasy at the same time? We both are like, WoW X, like, you know, WoW refugees.
So I think we lived on the same street, or our parents did, and same milkman.
Same milkman. A year apart, though. You're 94, aren't you?
Yeah. He came back to finish the job.
He was like, no, I can make one more handsome, but slightly shorter than the original. And he did.
But I came first.
No? I'm 93.
Yeah, 92.
Oh, I thought you were 94.
Yeah, I'm older. I'm the older version.
So he was
I'm V1, yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna make a slightly taller, less handsome. Less handsome. The hairline genes had been eradicated by the time he came back.
Yeah, all the hair went to me, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I've got hair in other places, so it's fine.
Great, good for you.
Yeah. So that is why we have the birthday on the same day, chat. We haven't just totally assimilated with each other, but I mean, for this episode, Russ, I know we don't have a guest or anything on. We wanted to sort of just have a touch base again with you and me, and just talk about things that we've, I guess, been experiencing over the last month or so since our last episode. If there are things that, because we're getting back into the groove of it as well, with the fact that December we both took a bit of a break from, like, did you have many days off over Christmas for streaming? Because I know I took like 5 days off and I felt hella guilty.
I came back on the Wednesday, actually. So I think Christmas was Monday or Sunday or something. So I only took like 2. I think I missed 2 streams, but then I had a day on, then on my birthday, and then off again. Then I came back for New Year's, actually. Yeah. So not too many days off.
Yeah. It's awkward around the Christmas period, especially for us having the birthday that we have, because you try and have like a consistent schedule, but you also want a little bit of time off, so you sort of have a little bit of Christmas off, and then you come back, and then you have to, well, like, you take some days off, and then it's your birthday, so you have to come back on stream, and then you take a couple days off again, and then it's New Year's, and it's a little bit wacky and all over the place. But did you get much Final Fantasy content done during that period? Like, did you... I know you've just jumped into Heavensward in the last few weeks, but did you hit that point during the Christmas, like, overlap?
So I think I finished post era, right? So the whole big cutscenes and all that, and you know, the poisoning and whatnot. And I hit that, which we found out some new information about recently. But but I hit that big day. That was a huge day. I think we hit that like pretty much mid-December, like 15th-ish. So my whole goal was Heavensward 2023, like hit Heavensward for 2023, right?
New Year's resolution doomed in January already.
Yeah, before 2023 finished. So we did manage to make it technically. I watched the cutscene and we did the first quest and we unlocked Ishgard, so we could officially say Heavensward happened in 2023. Everyone, the chat allowed me on this one. I thought they were gonna not let me live that down, but then I just thought, like, because it was gonna be so fragmented over the just because, like, for us, like, people with our birthday, like, everything happens at the, like, within a week, like, and then you're free for the whole year, like, like it's like all right, Christmas, birthday, New Year, and it's just like all really hectic, and then it's like all right, we're done now for the foreseeable future. So no more days off now for the rest of until December, Christmas this year. But yeah, I decided like I didn't want to start the MSQ and like really fragment it and be like, okay, we'll do MSQ day. Oh, and I have to take time off, come back, do one stream, MSQ. Like, 100%. So I just thought I'll start that in the new year. So I've just started that. I think about a week or two ago. I feel like I've been going at a pretty decent pace, like kind of powering through it almost.
Really? Do you know roughly where you're up to?
Yeah. So we've done the dungeon with Astinian where we take care of a Nidhogg, and then we take his eye and give it back to Hraesvelga. So we're like just after that part. And then Ishgard is like burning, and this is like the point where I realize now when people say like shit goes down in Heavensward, because it just feels like it's like one thing after another thing after another. Like it was last stream.
There's no let up, is there? It's just like back to back to back.
Yeah, because usually like with storytelling and stuff, it's like you kind of build up to a crescendo and you have a climax, and then you have like a drop down where it's like the cool off period, and then it builds again. But like this one is like, okay, like we killed Nidhogg apparently. I'm not convinced, but I did see him kind of die. So unless he's a primal, then we'll see. But
who isn't a primal? Who is
exactly? Like I have a feeling we'll see him again, but he did kind of blow up into Aether, so technically died. And then obviously now Estinian's red.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then we went and talked to Hraesvelga. He was pissed off. And then we went back to the city. It's like the quest was like, oh, something's bothering Estinian. So I was like, oh, okay, like what's he got a problem with now? Because he's been a little bit of a moany bitch, you know. But he's also incredibly based in some things he says as well.
Do you like him as a character?
I haven't been enjoying him as a character. I couldn't at the start. I didn't really understand like why everyone likes him so much. And then he kind of just like puts people in their place and says what he thinks, and he's quite true to himself. So I do enjoy that about him.
He has a lot of battles with Alphino, doesn't he? Like there's a lot of back and forth, right?
Yes. There was one part where like he was almost like bullying. He was like, yeah, Alfie, I mean, you're doing pretty good, but you're not quite ready for like this kind of battle or this and that. And he keeps like putting him down and like throwing Alfie's brakes on, and Alfie's like, I'm not good enough for a stadium. So that's what we got to now. Like
it's an interesting relationship. It's like maybe a big brother little brother kind of thing, where Estinian clearly cares about Alphino from what I took, but he's also sort of training him, but with a little bit of tough love at the same time.
Yeah, it's tough love. Yeah.
I think it's a nice relationship, you know. But yeah, sorry, as you were saying, and then you've gotten to.
So pretty much the last thing that I remember that we did, and I didn't want to do MSQ today because like plonking podcast in the middle, probably not the wisest. So we'll start again on Monday. But I think we just went back to like Four Toms Manor, saw Count Dripula.
Great pronunciation, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been practicing. I do a lot of voice reading now. Like I'm doing like my VA and everything. So.
I bet your French viewers have like increased. You should check out your percentage of French viewers now. It's probably gone up. They're like, he's so good with pronunciation, no? And then.
That's why Canada's so high. Is all the French.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, French Canadians. Yeah. So okay, good. Yeah, so you went back to Four Toms Manor.
Went back to Four Toms Manor, and Amaric's like, okay, I'm gonna go confront the Pope, basically, the Archbishop, and that's pretty much where we're at. He's like, I'm gonna go confront him, and then they're like, what? No, and he's like, maybe he's a bastard son or something, and then Lucia's like being a Giga Chad going after them, and then Estinian's like, well, I'll die too then, I guess. And then they're like, Warrior of Light, you come with me as well. And I'm like, I guess I have no choice. Of course my character goes, yeah, big nod. And then everyone kind of just got thrown in. So we're like, we've gone to see Tataru because she knows that she's the master of the rumors. She's like, have you watched Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
You know Varys.
Yeah.
That's like Tataru. She's got the little birds. So
I think she's a bit of a drunk. She's always like, right,
hanging in the pub.
I'll get to the pub, shall I? Everyone's going off and they're all just like, right, we'll go slay Nidhogg. All right, we'll go do this, we'll go do that. And then she's like, right then, quick pint?
Yeah, she's like, I'll meet you back at the pub when you're done slaying the dragons. Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely British, mate. Definitely British. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Okay, so you're at a good point, man. I can't believe you wait until Monday to do more MSQ.
Well, I'm like really into it, and I want to see like what's going on, right? I feel like I'm going really quick this time. Like I'm just like,
Heavensward,
I want to go,
like
I want to go,
just...
I want to go.
Yeah.
But it does feel like it's quick, right? Like once we kind of like got to Hraesvelgr, I was very much like, oh, okay. And then everyone's like, see, this is why it's award winning. And it's kind of like just going off like that now. And free to play. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
cool.
kind of around.
So in terms of Heavensward, then, like, how are you enjoying? So you're enjoying the pacing. You're enjoying the type of MSQ content that's being presented to you, like the direction of the story and stuff. Are you enjoying some of the good...
a little bit slow.
Yeah. Oh, really?
But I think that's okay. Yeah, like the whole like we obviously met the Four Tom's sons, and then Emmanuel, the guy who's a knob. Yeah, that one. Yeah, we did his thing, and then it's like, oh, a whale primal. I think it's called Bismarck or something.
Yeah, Bismarck.
And it's like, oh, a whale primal. All right, we'll just shelve that. Let's go do this. Yeah, it just said like, it's like, whoa, and I was like, okay, we're getting a trial, and then they just kind of shelved that, and we went through the whole like rest of the quest line. Ravana, sick fight, by the way.
Yeah,
I think
really
that's my favorite trial. The music was great. The arena was great. All the abilities looked cool. His like kind of theme and just like how he looked and stuff was awesome. I just liked his vibe.
Yeah.
So big fan of Ravana. Yeah, and just I don't know. That just seemed like we breezed over it. Like he came up for 5 minutes and then he was gone again. And then we just have this like Bismarck kind of like looming over us and whatnot.
Do you find that some of the content because you've done coils where you've done some like challenging content, do you find that that's maybe I don't want to say like put a dampener on things, but maybe it's hard for say a fight like Ravana and that kind of thing and some of these big pivotal story moments to be as impactful because they fall over so quickly, or does that not play a part?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I do everything still on like min-eye level.
Yeah.
Like, but it's normal. It's like, well, it's hard mode, isn't it? Which is like the normal. It's the easiest version of the fight. So definitely, like, it felt like it died too quick. I was like, stop DPS at 10% because I was like wanting to see more abilities and wanting to hear more of the soundtrack and stuff. But then it just kind of like flops like the dots, and like we still had the LB ready, and so we just went in for the killing blow there. But I can't wait to do that one on extreme. I think that one will be really fun one.
Yeah, I don't know how many. So those are the only two trials you've looked at so far, Bismarck, but you haven't done Bismarck, and then you've looked at you've done Ravana, right?
I've done Ravana. We've like seen a cinematic of Bismarck jumping over us right in the clouds, but we haven't like got to the trial or anything like that.
I don't want to say too much, but Bismarck is probably gonna be like the best fight that you will do. It's probably like my favorite trial so far, and like on extreme as well. But I won't like go into too much. Some of the other fights, dude. Some of the other fights are sick as well. They're so good. We killed some of them, and then I was like, okay, we're queuing up again because I'm not happy enough with like because I would die or something. I was like slow to learn some of them. I just wasn't in the groove with it, and I was okay. We're going again, mid-item level. I want to kill this again. I want to get further into the fight alive. I want to see more of the mechanics. And I think some of them I killed like 3 times back to back to back. Just because I was like, I want to just get more of I want to absorb more of this. The music was so good as well that I just wanted more of it. I wasn't ready to like move on to the next thing.
Yeah, we did that with Shiva Extreme. Like, it was probably one of the easier extremes. Probably the easiest that we did, apart from maybe like Garuda potentially. I think honestly Shiva was like 2 pulls and done on extreme blind, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't feel like I really
started the fight, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was well, part of it was like we were going back in to see who gets stepped on.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 pulls,
like
2 pulls and done, and then
2 pulls and 2 pumps, 2 pulls and done. Yeah.
And done. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, we really pumped it. You could say.
Nice. Yeah, so you killed Shiva quite quick. Yeah.
Yeah, but like coming after something like Ramu, right, where that took us a decent amount of time, like a good couple hours.
I heard you
Maybe
almost
like
turned mine off for that.
I
I
don't,
heard
I don't know if we were.
you.
I don't know if I was going to. Maybe because
Sure.
it was taking ages. I don't know if I was thinking about it or not.
I
But
heard
we
you
didn't in the
almost turned
end.
it off, you know? So I was like, oh, oof, oof. Maybe Russ
Yeah.
has met his match with the old Lightning Lord.
Or I just feel like that fight was so close to being good. Like I look back on it quite fondly now, but I remember at the time it was really frustrating. I feel like there was just a couple things, like the platform in the middle could have been like just a little bit bigger. And like the fact that the people who were stunned could get the lightning overlap things and stuff like that. Like some of that was just kind of annoying and unpredictable. But like we had a super clean kill on it in the end, where like everyone helped out. Because I think originally like I was kind of just running. I was like letting my DPS go and just running around the room and being like, okay, I'm gonna pick up the balls to kind of clear the room.
Yeah.
But then I was just kind of like, okay, pick up now. Like everyone just went and picked up like one or two, and as long as we left like enough to the tanks. But it's like you got to like look where the tanks are, how long's left of their debuff, what thing. So then we just made a system like after every single like lightning storm, then the tank goes picks up. But we need to leave
Yeah.
three balls, I think it is, for the tether in the last phase.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a bit of coordination. We got super clean kill in the end that I'm really happy with. But yeah, like going from like Ramu into, which I think is the one before Shiva, if I'm not mistaken, into Shiva, which
Yeah,
it just
perhaps.
she felt like a little bit of a letdown, especially as we were like building up for like a patch and a half as well.
Yeah, that's why I'm also careful. So I'll always double check with my chat where I will go in somewhat of an order for the trials, but I'll also say like, right, which ones are probably the easier ones, because I'll probably do those first, and then that way I don't have a weird difficulty curve where I go, oh my god, that fight was sick, oh, it took us 30, 40, 50 pulls, whatever, probably not that many, but still, and then you go and you just like two-shot a boss and you're like, oh, that was a bit sucky.
So you didn't do them as you went along, you just did them all at the end.
I did them. I'm thinking for Heavensward, when I did them all on extremes, there were certain ones where I was like, I'm saving this one till like last. Like I want this fight to be last, and I want this fight to be like second to last, whatever. Like there's one extreme in Heavensward which is hands down the best extreme. It'll take you a little bit of prog, which is good because you get to just get to immerse yourself in the music, and the fight is fantastic. The fight is really good. I'm not gonna say who it is or what. I wouldn't say who it is, but it's a fantastic fight, and people in chat probably can guess or think to themselves on which one I might be talking about. But it's fantastic. So you'll definitely like that one, and I want to hear your thoughts when you get to it. You'll know which one it is when you get there. But yeah, there's some really good. In fact, every single extreme was really good in Heavensward. There wasn't really a bad one. Like all of them were sick. Because obviously, when you're doing the trials during MSQ, they're a little bit lackluster. You're just like, oh, okay, that died quickly. But when you get to do the extremes, where it's a little bit more optional, it's and they can put a little bit more juice into each fight. Really good. Really good.
Good. Well, which order did you do for ARR then? Did you do those as you went through the patches, or did you go back at the end and like make an order?
I think I went in order for those. Like I did like Ifrit.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, did I do Ifrit first? I don't know. I think I tried to do like roughly the pace at which, or the order at which I saw them in the story.
Yeah. But you have to start. It goes Garuda, Titan, Ifrit on the original three, but then obviously you have the patch ones, right?
Right, that's what I would have done. I was gonna say I don't think I did Ifrit first, but I know I did it early on because I did the original three. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
What do you think of the Good King?
Moogelmog? Good King Moogelmog, the 13th?
12th.
The 12th? The 12th.
12th.
He's a
May
good
the blessing
lad.
of his name ever be remembered.
Yeah. He's a good lad. I really like that fight. I thought it was...
Really?
I thought it was awesome because just when you thought like, oh, I think this will be it then, there was like that little bit more to it where you had to kill them in the certain order, and I'm trying to think back now as to how you exactly had to do it, but you had to kill them in a certain order, and then you had to kill them the second time round, and you didn't want to kill them too quickly because it's like that classic thing in WoW, right, where they'll like res each other if you don't, or well, they'll just go like Super Saiyan if you don't kill them within a certain time limit from when the first one dies or whatever. And I thought that was cool. And then you have the DPS check on the boss as well. So I thought that was all quite nice. I enjoyed that boss, actually. It was, I think, frustrating early on. And then as I did it, the more I did it, the more I enjoyed it.
Once it clicked for me, it was like free. But it was so many pulls. And like no one was... Usually I try to take other people who don't really know the fight. So that like I have someone to cook with when it's blind.
Someone to blame.
But like... Yeah, well, just like someone that I can back and forth with in like the in-game chat or something as we go, who also is in a blind like state, so we can kind of like be like, oh, what about this? What about that? That's why Coils was so nice. Like we had 2 people that had done it, but there was like 6 of us who had no idea. So the 6 of us were like cooking the strats. The 2 people were just sitting by like Pepe laughing, right? Like if we're doing it wrong. Whereas like in Moogle there was like 7 people who had done it, so everyone was just completely mute, and I was just like. I don't know, and then like when you're like doing it by yourself, the pressure's all on, and it's like you're a solo in charge of like coming up with the strat. So it took me a good few pulls. I think it was like 30-40 pulls or something. Took a couple hours. I think it took like a lot. I mean, they were quick pulls because like I was trying to focus down the healer, then the mage, and then this, but that triggers like the res. I think it's when the second one of each set dies or the first one of each
they
set
get
dies,
like the second stack, right, or the third stack, something like that.
Something like that, and then he casts the res, and then he sucks. He uses his health to res them, right? So that's where you get him low. So it like sucks away his health. So then once I noticed like, oh, the boss's HP is getting lower every time he reses. Let's get them all down to 10%, stack them up, and blow them up, right?
Exactly.
And then it was free after that point, apart from a couple tanking issues where like. They weren't tank swapping the boss and the tank Moogles.
Do you? I've heard. Do you actually micromanage your tanks when you're cooking? Because if they're like taunt swaps and stuff, I just say, look, I'm not gonna watch for tank swaps. Use your brain. Obviously, I'm not gonna tell healers when to press heal on people. You know, I'm not gonna tell them when to dispel. Right?
It's more like general strategy and specifically like DPS stuff, like which ad are we hitting and things like that. Like if there's ever like a mechanic where someone could just essentially go and solo carry it by like Ramu with the balls and stuff, I tell them don't do that, right? Like let me fuck it up. So in the Alliance raid, the Crystal Tower, right? There was like the Giga Behemoth or whatever it's called, where the meteor comes down, and you have to line of sight it. But I was like, don't give anything away, guys. So everyone was just standing outside the rocks, getting one shot every time, and I'm like, what is this mechanic? What is going on? And we wiped on it so many times, and then until like everyone was just like trolling like the whole time, and then until I personally stood behind a rock and was like, oh, we can line of sight this, and then everyone's like, thank God. He finally noticed.
That's really good though. I do like that people are doing that, and that's something that I've enjoyed. So I just did Savage Alexander during Christmas, right? I did my 12 days of Savage, and I killed every single boss. We didn't think going into it that like people thought maybe we'd kill 2 or 3. They thought, yeah, first couple bosses maybe you'll kill, because the way we did it, for anyone in Russ's chat who doesn't know, 12 days of Savage. Each day we had to start the boss that correlates with that number. So like day 4, you do boss 4. Day 7, you do boss 7, right? Makes sense. We could never go forward. So like day 1, we killed the first boss pretty quick, but doesn't mean we can go on to boss 2. We can only go backwards. So
like
when we get later stage and we like say like boss 4, we don't kill boss 4. When we kill boss 5 on day 5, we could go back to any of the previous 4 bosses, etc. But we managed to kill every single boss on Savage Mine. And Russ, I'm telling you, Coils ain't shit, bro. Like, Coils is beautiful for the fact that it's the first raid of the game, and it's like always going to be the first raid tier that we did in Final Fantasy. There's always going to be that special place in it, but it ain't shit. Savage Alexander is beautiful. I can't wait for you to get there, man. Your brain is gonna fry with some of the cooking you have to do. Like, you're gonna be in despair, because I was. It was fantastic. You need to get, like, when are you gonna plan on doing Savage?
Probably I'm gonna finish MSQ. I might like unlock Dancer or something,
Cool.
and then I think we might just jump into it pretty much first thing. Like first thing we do, and then do the extremes afterwards and the post content afterwards. I
Do
think
you
I'm
have
gonna do
a
it
plan
between
for how you're gonna do Savage? Like, have you thought of how you're gonna do it?
similar to Coils. I think like
Yeah.
get an application form out, see who wants to do it, and then just tackle it over the next couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Like I'm not gonna yoink the 12 days thing. Although I do like the sound of that where you're like locked.
Dude, I
and then
don't know if you
back
wanna
kinda thing.
do 12 days because that's like a cool thing for you and that works with your stream and your viewers and stuff. Like, send it, man. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, Russ copied
Oh, no,
my
no,
idea.
no.
I mean, I will say Russ copied my idea, but like that'll bring me joy in being able to be like, get your own content streamer, always in Psy shadow kind of thing, Yeah.
Yeah, no. I it's not that I don't want to copy it for that reason. It's more that like I think like you said, it fits my stream schedule kind of thing better. Just doing it similar to Course, where maybe like two or three streams a week we'll tackle some like when people are available. Really,
Yeah.
Not that I don't want it to like just be all condensed in like take over the stream for like 2 weeks. It's like
Yeah, I get
okay, we
that.
can have a day where we slack off, and then we'll have a day where we focus, and then maybe a day where we do something casual, like whatever distractions are waiting.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I get that. I do think the 12 days of Savage was... I just wanted... The reason I did it is because I wanted to get it done, but I also didn't want it to take over the stream, like, long term. I thought, I don't want to do... Because I didn't know how long it was going to take. And I guess you can look at me and go, oh, it took him 12 days. Okay, I guess I could do, like, this many days this week, this many days that week. Okay, it'll take us, like, 4 weeks or something, right? So you can somewhat plan it out, but I was going in just like very blind to this might take us 3 months, so I don't know how much time to allow for it. So I thought, you know what, let's do 12 days of Christmas. It's festive. It's it works. But I was kind of happy with it. It did burn me out though, I'll be honest. I was like on the 12th day I was just like fried.
I mean, you did very long streams, right? Like you did 12
They were like 8 plus.
days.
I think like 10. I think some of them were like
people
10, 11 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, people in my chat just said you were doing it like 10, 11 hours a day for 12 days. Like that's a lot. That's as much as I stream in a month.
Yeah,
Probably more.
The thing is, the fight made me want to go longer. So it was like it just worked well. So yeah, it just sort of coincided well, and I managed to free up some time for it, so I just had stuff to do. I was like, yeah, I want to kill these bosses. And when you've got the 12 days and you're looking at a boss where you're like, so there was like one boss that took us 4 days to do.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. We had to keep going back after the next day.
164 pulls. So we had to keep going back each day. And obviously trying to get the same group for that was kind of like hard.
Did you have the same group most of the time?
Sort of. We had to do a couple rotations. So there would, like, on that boss... Well, I'll just tell you, it was the 8th boss, right? You'll know when you get there anyway. It was the 8th boss. It took us a long time. And we had to do some, like, kind of rotations of some people. So we had, like, different tanks coming in. I think we had 3 or 4 different tanks. But sometimes they'd swap out, and then the previous one would swap back in again and stuff. We had just things going wrong for people. I think someone's whole street like lost power. There were just things that happened. It was like, oh shit, now this is disrupting Prague. But like life happens, right? You can't do anything about it. But that boss was like that boss was made artificially harder by the fact we did have to change people, but also. It's a mini ultimate. It's a mini ultimate, the 8th boss. So look forward to that. That's a
I assume it will
one.
be. I don't know if there's a Heavensward ultimate, but I assume that will be in there probably.
There is no Heavensward ultimate. Stormblood is the first time ultimates come in. But it's like from what people tell me, it's like the blueprint of what they sort of wanted. I think it probably was the groundwork for them going, let's do this as a standalone thing rather than midway through a raid tier, more or less, or 2/3 through. But
I heard like Stormblood is where they kind of found their footing, and that was like the blueprint of now where the game's at today, right?
That's what I've heard as well. But I'm very close to I think the end of base Stormblood now. I'm on like level 68 MSQ. trying to think if I can tell chat where I'm at in the story without giving anything away. All I'll say is Giga Chad, mommy step on me, Giga Chad. And I think that should hopefully tell chat where I'm at.
I mean, that could be anything. That could be like Raoban, Melwib, Raoban, you know?
Could be anyone.
Yeah.
But chat should know from that, I think, where I'm at in the story. Roughly level like 68 MSQ. Or I just did the level 67 dungeon. That will be a clear giveaway for chat on your side of things. So I'm almost done with Stormblood, like base MSQ, and then I'm gonna try and do.
They actually know.
They actually know.
They're actually like, yeah, I know exactly where he is.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So cool. So I'm gonna try and do some. Okay, so I'm going to Japan. I just found out today. I went down to London. That's why I'm late, like with my stream and stuff today. I went down to London to get my visa sorted, so I've been accepted. Nice. So I've got a year in Japan. So I'll be going in March. A year, 12 months in Japan. Wow. So you're welcome to come over and do some IRL streams with me, Rusty boy. If you want sometime.
Yeah. I guess you're not going to TwitchCon then.
Nah, I won't be. I don't think I'll be going to anything. No BlizzCon. Race World first casting for like WoW or Final Fantasy and stuff like that. I'll see what I can do, but who knows? Yeah. Media tour in Japan maybe. Like if there's maybe I can go to Tokyo and like go and see Yoshida-san.
You have to speedrun the game then, so because like there'll be big spoilers at Media Tour if you get invited on that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. We were talking about this the other day, like with chat. I guess we can sort of touch on that a little bit if you want. But like Media Tour and sort of expectations or things we'd maybe want to cover. We've not even spoken as well about like Fanfest just happened as well. So we can jump into that kind of stuff if you want, Russ.
Yeah. Anything's go for me.
Yeah. Well, I'll finish up my point then. So basically, because I'm going to Japan in like March, which is not too long for now.
Not too long.
I'm gonna try and do some of the higher end, like end game content of Stormblood, so like Savage and stuff, maybe before I go, if I can. Otherwise, I'm just gonna probably save it until like I'm comfortably there and stuff. So I gotta see how we do with that. But yeah, so we'll see with Stormblood. But yeah, Media Tour. So Fanfest just happened.
How does Media Tour work?
As far as I know, it is interviews. You get invited to do an online interview with the devs. I don't know if it's only with Yoshi P or if it's with other devs as well. I would imagine it's also other devs as well. But apparently you get just to chat with them. I don't know if it's like a group session or an individual thing, but you get to talk to them for a couple hours from what I've heard. And then you get to demo some of the things. Like you get to demo, so for example, Viper and Pictomancer, you'll get to demo them a bit. That's as much as I know. I don't know. And I think they invite sort of a range of streamers. So you and myself might even be considered, who knows? And then high-end players and long-term players and, yeah, the whole shebang, I think.
Do we have to be on like some kind of list for that? Are you on a list you can contact anyone or no? You have to like, reach out and...
Who knows? But I don't know who's watching the streams, you know? Square Enix probably have an eye on us somewhere along the line, but who knows if we'll get invited to stuff. I'll probably try and be a bit proactive on it myself, because I would love to be involved. I know some people can be a bit funky about new players coming into the game, less experienced players that aren't done with the MSQ yet, coming in and then going to the Media Tour, and then it's like, what kind of questions are they going to ask? But realistically, I think we could probably ask some pretty good stuff based on our experiences so far, and our experiences of being 20-year veterans of another MMO, right? We're in the MMO space.
That's like kind of both of our, like a unique selling point on us both, right? Like some people, like I had a comment on YouTube the other day saying like, when are you going to stop with the whole WoW refugee, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, there's a point to it, right? Firstly, like someone might value an opinion coming from someone in my stance who's been there, done that kind of thing. Maybe it resonates with them because they were also in that position. Maybe just someone who's never played WoW wants to see like an opinion of like a comparison and stuff. So like I think that kind of opinion or take is valid in a lot of cases, especially like, okay, what does WoW do well? What does WoW not do well? Like how can we, like what good can we take from it and what bad can we leave behind, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
that kind of stuff could be useful as you know, to devs, like having someone like yourself who's sat through hours and hours and hours and hours of Mythic Plus rejection and stuff like that, like to tell them, don't add Mythic Plus. You know, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like,
or if you do, these are pitfalls that you can avoid with.
These are things Blizzard
Yeah.
refuses to do for some reason, which is unknown to anyone. But
yeah,
things like that, like it's useful to have someone who's kind of been through it, because, you know, while they may be aware of these, you know, the systems, they don't know the positives and negatives of the systems and the kind of trickle down that has, for example, onto like the community and how they act and things like that, which is obviously a big problem for WoW.
Also, I think like if you're on the media tour and you'll say like, I don't know, who's like a diehard Final Fantasy streamer, like even just like Xeno, right? Or Zeems, he's got like 8 different names, but I know he does a bunch of variety now because Final Fantasy's in Endwalker's dead, so I know he's doing variety content. But you would look at him and anyone who's gonna watch him on the media tour, like they're probably already heavily invested in Final Fantasy, where you can get other people who maybe recognize someone from a different MMO. Say like Nagura goes on the media tour for, I don't know, just a random WoW person, right? Nagura goes on the media tour. She plays Final Fantasy or has done. She's got some experience in it. She goes on the media tour. Well, suddenly now her World of Warcraft audience goes, oh, Nagura is doing this. Oh, okay, well, I love everything that Nagura does, so let me go check out what she's doing with Final Fantasy. Oh, cool, the media tour. Oh, wow, that job looks cool. That new zone looks cool, yada, yada.
Yeah.
That game director seems absolutely diehard passionate about this game. Wow, cool. Okay, maybe I will go check out that game. So I think there can be some good use of having people from different like arenas coming in and talking through like what to expect with Dawntrail and stuff. And also I think like we had this conversation in my chat as well the other day, where it's sometimes good to have that different perspective, because I had someone come into my chat, I think yesterday, and they were saying like, oh, I'm a big, you know, hardcore WoW raider, I want to play Final Fantasy, do you have any like sort of advice, or what would you recommend? And I was like, oh, I would probably skip the story if I were you, and I would just jump into the raid content.
For them personally.
For them personally, right? Because they're a WoW player, and they're a high raid scenario player. So I was like, well, I would probably, you might absolutely love the story, but you might jump in and after a week of playing going, man, wait, what? I can't even raid yet? Like, whoa, come on, what's, 2 weeks has gone by, 3 weeks has gone by, when do I get...
It's been 6 hours and I'm not in the max level content, what's going on?
Exactly, right? Like, where's my full set of gear and everything day one? So, it's like, oh, well, you might consider a story skip, job skip, and then you can jump into the raids and then see if you like the game, and then once you do that, then you can go back and play the MSQ and stuff, right? And that obviously got a lot of discussion going in chat, but that is also a thing I think is good to consider, like with the media tour and stuff, is being able to approach, like I wouldn't talk to a WoW player the same way I talk to a Final Fantasy player. If I have somebody who comes in, maybe tried other MMOs or something, and they're like, oh, should I try Final Fantasy? I'm like, okay, well, what have you played before? What is your normal gaming experience? Are you big into story? Are you big into high-level content, or like sort of, I don't know, social MMO experiences? Do you want to freely be able to go and chat with people and have like a bustling city that you can go and connect with people in, etc.? Like, where do you come from? What kind of stuff are you interested in? Because the answer isn't the same for everyone. But yeah, so that's sort of the situation. That's why I think it could be good having different perspectives.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the deal with the media tour. I gotta ask an interesting question, and I wonder if you have anything. I know it's a little bit on the spot, Russ, but if you were given the chance to go on the media tour, would you have a specific subject matter, or like perhaps a question, or just topics in general that you would want to discuss with either Yoshi P or any of the devs? Like, what would be your thing that you'd really want to get to grips with?
I mean, I definitely would. I wouldn't like reply to them or go on the tour without, you know, having a plan, I suppose, of like things I would like to ask and stuff. But like on the spot right now, I don't feel like I'm really far enough through the game to, you know, say that I've experienced it all, so therefore I can't really draw like something that I would like to be expanded upon, and therefore like pick up questions from that or whatever. But I think you know, given the chance, I would go through and just like research, kind of like now my gut instinct would be like stuff to do with raiding, I suppose, just because that's most of my background in WoW.
Yeah.
And that's the only real like end game content I've done so far. I've done a tiny bit of PvP. I've done a little bit of the side stuff, but mostly like raiding, coils, extremes, like the kind of 8-person PvE stuff is like where I have the most experience so far. So it would be in that avenue now, but you know, maybe by the time it comes around, I don't know when it is or whatever, but you know, if I've gone through, you know, the Heavensward Savages, or potentially, I don't know whenabouts in the year it is, but like an Ultimate, if I've got any experience with that, like I could tailor questions towards that. But I think it would just be to do something to do with PvE, sorry, and that kind of thing. I don't really have a problem, like any kind of issues or questions or like yearning for something more in any other area of the game.
You're
at the
not
moment.
coming from a place of like sort of frustration, which some people
No.
might be coming from. You're
Some
coming
people
from
might,
a place
yeah.
of like, oh my god, the game you've been making has been such an incredible journey, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like a place of praise. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like pretty much all positive for me. I know like some people, for example, when that last Criterions thing came out, like people had an issue with that or the gearing from it or something. So I assume like that would be, for an example, something negative that people might bring up, you know, and say like, oh well, like what's up with Criterions, and this is supposed to be such fun dungeon content, and like there's no gear awards. Like that's what I like generally heard. I think Zeno was saying something about that. So like I imagine that would be like the negative they would receive, maybe like some zone things. I know people have had particular gripe with like amount of content in Endwalker, but I haven't played Endwalker.
Like Boja or Eureka Zone. The like relic grinds as well being, I think, easier now. Like for example, they just released a new relic. I don't know if you've seen them. Like
and it's just tomestones.
And it's like just I saw somebody on Twitter had like 3 or 4 of them within one day. And it's, for some people that's like phenomenal, that's fantastic. Some people that's like, I know it was the final step, so the final step might be easier than some of the others, but some people want a big long grind. They want content to have to do. Those are like the general gripes that I see as well. I know as well like 2-minute meta with jobs where people are complaining about that. Some jobs as well, like even just Summoner being too easy, Astrologer needing a rework and stuff. I think that's coming. Dragoon as well, I think those are coming in.
But for me, that's like not an issue. Like coming from WoW, I've played simple classes, played, you know, more technical classes, and there's a time and like there's neither one's better than the other. You know, like really depends on your individual playstyle. So if you don't like Dragoon, play a different job. You know, like you know, same as like people say like Demon Hunter 2-button class, but I kind of like that because it means I can put my brain power into other aspects of the game, like call-outs and strategy and making sure that
it's like when I look at Feral Druid and there are people that are like diehard, oh my god, Feral needs to be super bleed based, super difficult, and then you have other people like, oh, I like playing the more simplistic Feral one, I don't like to bleed, I want to bite a bunch. I know that for Final Fantasy players that don't play WoW, you might be like, what the hell is he talking about? But basically, you have some people who are playing a spec to say like or a job like Summoner, and some of them might be like, oh, I love this new easier version, and some people might be going, oh, I wish it was the hard version like it used to be. And then as a developer, it's like, well, which one do we try and please? And
it's the Titan thing on Samurai, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's like a very, very polarizing thing. There's like just 2 camps where most people like fuck that ability, and some people like it made it good, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like similar thing. You'll never please everybody, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's okay to have, you know, some jobs be easier than others, and for people that really want that job that spins 50 plates, as long as it's in the game, you know, you can play it or to the best of your ability or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's okay if not everybody can or wants to. Like the people that you know, just want to play the job for the sake of playing a job because they like the fantasy probably aren't the same people that are going to be needing to perform it. The Final Fantasy. They aren't going to need to perform at the max level anyway, because like if they're just playing it because they're like, oh, I like paint, like I'm going to play Pictomancer. Like, I like paint.
You
know what I mean? Like,
I like all the different flavors.
If Pictomancer turns out to be like really, really difficult or something, right? But there's people that are just like, I like the fantasy of Pictomancer, I want to paint some pictures and stuff, like that's cool.
Like
they're not taking it into ultimates, you know?
Yeah, I spent $100,000 on an art degree, and I'd like to play Pictomancer in game, please. Thank you. 100%. yeah, we gotta see as well what those jobs are gonna be like. I'm pretty excited. Like, I'm not too bothered about Pictomancer necessarily. Like, I'm happy for the people that want it. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of excitement. That's awesome. I don't think I'm gonna end up playing it personally, mainly because it's ranged and I'm more of a melee guy. And Viper just looks fantastic. But I might give it a little go, you know, I might check it out, because it does seem quite cool. It might be a cooler version of, like, Summoner, maybe. But Viper, I'm for sure checking out. Like, we were trying to debate in chat the other day what we think Viper's going to be. There was a lot of, it was polarized in chat where I was like, oh, maybe it could be, you know, what do you think of Viper? You think of fast, you think of, like, fast attacks, and you think of, like, poisons. At least in my head I do. And poisons usually would be, you know, you'd be looking at dots and that kind of thing. And there was a discussion on whether there will or won't be dots, because Square Enix is trying to move away from dot-based classes, but then at the same time, maybe they're trying to remove them and condense them onto one class, kind of like they did with Demon Hunter, with Metamorphosis in World of Warcraft. You know, they removed Metamorphosis from Warlock and a few other things from different classes, and then they made Demon Hunter out of, like, this amalgamation of other things they'd removed from other classes.
Yeah.
But then I heard something interesting. Did you know that there is a debuff and a buff cap in Final Fantasy, like in Classic WoW?
No, I didn't actually.
There is one. There is one. So apparently, if you're raiding, and you have too many... apparently, normally it's if you have too many buffs. Like, trying to hit the debuff cap, I think, is quite hard. It's like 30 debuffs on an enemy, I believe.
Right.
But on a friendly target...
People, that's not really going to happen, is it?
Yeah, right? Like, 8 people hitting 30 debuffs is kind of hard, I think, from what I would imagine. But with friendly buffs, I think there's a combination where if you have, like, Dancer and some other group buffing things, then you're more likely to hit this. But buffs just won't even register, apparently. And I've even seen, I had a screenshot linked to me, I think in my Discord, where somebody tried to apply a debuff to a boss, and it just missed. Like, it doesn't happen. But it's still...
Big coolies.
Yeah, like, it still gets removed as your sort of cooldown, but it doesn't get applied, so it just disappears. It doesn't...
So it doesn't
whereas in
override
WoW,
as well.
in WoW it overrides the previous buff, right? The old debuff. So it's really interesting. I don't know the full specifics. Like, I probably misspoke on it slightly, but it's an interesting conversation of looking at how that's present in Final Fantasy as well, which is kind of cool, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't really. Never even like occurred to me to think about it, but yeah, I haven't heard anything. I imagine it's pretty difficult to hit though.
Yeah, I would imagine so too. But I guess if you got like Dancer and
maybe
Bard
in Alliance raids, but yeah.
But even in Alliance raids, you only get the application of party members, right? Because you're split into 3 of 8, right? So even then, oh, I guess debuffs on the boss is what you mean.
Debuffs
right?
on the boss, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's something I'd like to look more into and see. But I wonder what kind of content it impacts, whether it impacts like ultimates or not. Because like in Alliance, if it does impact alliances, it's like it's whatever. The content's quite chill. But if it happens in like an ultimate, that could be a big bummer.
Yeah, someone's just said in my chat pretty sure they fixed it after it somewhat screwed up TOP. So
okay,
maybe
this was
have some fuckery with buffs on an ultimate, and they were like, all right, let's sort this out, because that's obviously their like flagship, like this is our big dick content kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it can't be cheesed or going wrong and stuff.
Yeah. But are you gonna check out Viper or anything at all? Like Pictomancer, Beastmaster, maybe?
Yeah, I've only watched the cinematics. Like, I definitely am looking at Viper because it looks just like fast, kind of like DH-ish vibe off that as well. Like, obviously Reaper is what I've got my eye on right now. I can't wait to try that one out. But if Viper's like a bit faster, I do like the whole twin blade kind of thing. Like, put it together and then just like slam, and then have like a maintenance kind of phase. But we'll see how it is in practice. I'll obviously give it a go. But I don't know if I can't really say without seeing its moveset and abilities if it's going to be my cup of tea or not. It really depends like how it works.
Yeah, you don't know until you try it, and that's where we'll see more on the media tour. I am interested as well of knowing like when, because the media tour will happen, but I'm wondering if it's, and people in chat will know, right? But we're just talking. I'm wondering if they pre-record these interviews and this content, and then like down the line they release it maybe like a week to 3 weeks later, or whether they release it, whether they like record it and then release it same day or something, or the next day, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm curious as to when we, the public, will get access to that information of how Viper plays, perhaps how Pictomancer plays. But I'm really looking forward to that. I think that'll be really cool to see. Viper was like the first class I've looked at and gone like, ooh, I think that might be quite close to the kind of thing I wanna play. Or I don't want to say the first class like that, but
Yeah.
it's like that speaks to me quite a lot. It took me some time figuring out what I'm into in Final Fantasy, but Viper I've looked at and gone like, ooh, that might be my main.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you feel about your current jobs? Like, I know you do some samurai and you do some. I swear you play another LA job.
Dude, you don't even watch my stream, do you? You're a fake. Are you even a
I
tier
seen
3
you
sub? Are
on
you a tier 3
Astro.
sub?
No. Sadly.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I've leveled a few things. I've got Dragoon at 60. I've got Summoner at almost 60. I've got Astrologer at 60. It was Summoner was what I began on, but then I went Samurai as soon as I could. Tried Samurai, really liked it. I then picked up Monk. Actually, really fun thing about Savage Alexander was I learned Monk on boss 10, maybe boss 9,
Okay.
the one with the cat, chat, the meow one.
Meow boss.
Yeah, I learned Monk on that boss. So obviously the boss took artificially longer. Oh, boss 7, sorry, my mistake. But the boss took artificially longer than it really should have, because I was just failing mechanics because I'm so focused on like doing my rotation. And Monk has a couple of positionals, and then the rotation's really funky on Monk. It's really cool, actually. Have you tried it?
No.
It's really cool. You might like it. I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, is it quite fast? Like, it's fast in
fast.
positionals, right?
Yeah, it's fast, but apparently it gets even faster. You get like a 1.93 second GCD, if I'm not mistaken. And then
You also
obviously
have
your
OGCDs.
of course, yeah.
Right.
And you have multiple positionals, whereas like Samurai, you only have 2. I think Monk only has 2 actually for me so far as well. But what's really cool about Monk is that you can shift seamlessly between AoE and single target. But you have a maintenance buff on yourself, and then you have a dot, and both of them are short duration, whereas like Samurai dot is 60 seconds, and your buffs are like 40 seconds, 30-40 seconds, so you're chilling on Samurai with application of things. Monk, you have quicker GCD, and it's sort of like Blood Talons with Feral Druid.
Right.
On Monk,
So
which
you,
is
like,
really
choose
cool.
something to buff up, yeah.
Well, you have chi, right? You have like the dark and light chi, and you have to do 3. You have to do 3 different abilities to generate. So you have like a cooldown that's 30 seconds CD, and you have 2 charges on it. You press the cooldown, and then you have to fill. You have to do 3 different buttons, depending on which buttons you do, like which form they're in. You get a different buff. You either get the light chi or the dark chi. And then when you get both chi, you then do another one of those 30-second CDs, and then you get like a big hit. So when you're gathering your chi, you have to sort of pre-plan the order in which you're going to do your abilities. So it's kind of like Blood Talons, because if you mess up, you can kind of screw yourself a bit, like you'll lose damage for it, so you get a little bit of a punishment, and perhaps even a big punishment if you really mess up, I believe. So it's really cool. It's good. It's fun. It's fast paced. It's versatile. It's got some good positionals, maintenance buff. It's got a debuff as well. So it's very fun. I really like it. And that was actually one of my favorite bosses and proudest bosses to prog was boss 7, because I learned how to play Monk at a very solid level, I think, and was doing Savage at the same time. So it was very very fun. It was very cool.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit like Rito WoW Monk in a way, where it's like quite punishing with the whole mastery and hit combo and
It sort of is, yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah,
It sort of is like WoW Monk, to a degree. Yeah.
I'll maybe give it a try. I also like this. I just want to try all of the jobs, but I don't want to delay, my playthrough by just being like, okay, well now I'm gonna go level up, because you got to level them up every time as well. So I would just be like sick of all the ARR dungeons and stuff like that. So I'm gonna just kind
Or
of stagger
Veil,
them.
anyone?
Yeah, I actually don't mind that dungeon. It's
Yeah, I don't
fine.
mind it.
I leveled up tank just spamming Aurum Veil and learning, because like I was like, well, this one's apparently on the tank, like the first room and first part of it and stuff. So just tank that one a bunch of times. Right now today actually I was leveling up Machinist. It's like 44 now, 46 maybe.
I've heard Machinist is very fun.
It's really fun. Yeah, you can just it feels like BM Hunter basically. You just run and gun like the whole time. Just kind of run through. It's got like really good AoE that you can just spam an ability, and it's just the massive cone in front of you. It's like a 120-degree cone in front of you, and you just like sit there going, and you just like pull out a Tommy gun, just like.
Sorry,
so
you
can
that?
just
What is it? The gun go like? One
massive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. Nice.
What did you do?
No, you started to do like a and then you're like
oh sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah, before it goes. Yeah, I can't refrain from doing that one. But yeah.
Yeah. So you're liking that? I started Ninja, but I haven't. I got it to like level. You have to start as a rogue, and you start at level 1. But I'm going through it. But I've started Stormblood, so I sort of put it on the back burner. But I want to try Ninja because apparently it's really hard. But I watched a video on it and it looks really cool. You have a bunch of different. I don't know if that's even chi as well. It's you got these different runes, bro, and you have to do like a different order. But then they're like, oh, the trick is it's only the last rune that you press that matters. Ha ha ha. And then you're like, okay, cool. But it looks really fun. I think the advantage of learning a bunch of jobs very early is you can sort of get a good sense of them. Because if you get to 90 and then you want to learn a new job, I think that's quite a bigger undertaking. Whereas, I don't know, you still got to level and you can level slow. But having nice little breakpoints where you can get to 50 or 60 or whatnot and sort of max out what the class has, get comfortable on it, and then go, okay, introduce a couple more things to me now slowly. I think that's kind of a nice way of doing it rather than doing them all at 90.
Especially when you have like job quests as well, where it's like I got Machinist. I think it started at 30, if I'm not mistaken, and it's like, so you do a quest line, you get the thing, and it's like, all right, now you have to level it up to 35, then do a job quest, then 30, then 40, then do a job quest, then 45, then 50. But like if I was getting it starting it from 30 and going all the way to 90, it's like you just got to pump the levels, and like it almost feels like, let me just get the level up and then go back and just do a job quest spree kind of thing.
Yeah, I did that, though you have to be careful with YouTube, because I did Astrologian, and then I couldn't be bothered to go and do the job quest, because I was like, oh, I just want to try a little bit of healer, I'll do Ifrit, and then I did Ifrit Extreme, just to like heal something decently challenging as a healer, and then people like in YouTube flamed me for not going and getting one of my abilities, and I'm like, bro, I just can't be bothered, man, like... I can't be bothered. So, because it can be a pain sometimes with the job quest. But they stopped doing them, apparently, I think, after Stormblood. So 70, I think. Onward, you stopped doing them,
Yeah. Like, I had a similar thing. Because, like, my Dragoon is, like, 62 or something. But my Heavensward, like, at the time, my Heavensward MSQ was, like, 52. So I'm like, people are like, go do your job quest. And I'm like, I can't use the ability in any of the duties or dungeons anyway. So like, I would just be putting this on my bar for like the 3 quest mobs I kill every 20 minutes, like Fang and Claw and stuff like that. So, but now I got to a point where like I can actually use that next dungeon. So I went and got it and finished off, like dusted off the quest line. And now it says I have to complete Heavensward before I get any more stuff. Like I still can't use my abilities.
Funnily enough, that's what I would want to talk about if I was on the media tour, is like that experience of leveling new jobs, trying new jobs, and even just in general, like when you do a duty roulette or something, you just want to jump into a dungeon and getting scaled down and losing your abilities is just, I know, like I've had this conversation a bunch on stream. I don't want to get into it now where people in chat tell me stuff about how, like, it's a good thing or whatever. I know why they do it. I'm aware. I can follow the logic of why they do it. But I wish there was some kind of alternative, because it's just jarring as a new player as well when you try and level something and then you go, wait, why don't I have this ability now? And then you have to like you have to downgrade your rotation, and I don't think it builds good long-term skill acquisition. Is your chat already saying stuff?
Dangerous topic, feels tense.
Yeah. Uh-oh, careful. Criticism in my free-to-play MMORPG.
My game.
In my award-winning MMORPG. But
Yeah.
it's one of those where I've got my own personal feelings on it, just as everyone's going to have their feelings on it. But it's something I would want to raise, where it's like, if you're a new player and you're trying to get better at how to play your class, and then you get abilities removed from you, you then sort of have to learn like several different rotation optimizations dependent on what level you're at. And yeah, okay, people can do it, but like, should they have to? Is it not another way we could go about this?
It's like getting your rank, like your stripes stripped away, right? And then it's like, okay, now I got to go back. And some people are like, oh man, like this job really sucks before level 58, or like, oh, this job really sucks. So like when they go back to coils, it's like, well, I'm not going to play that in coils, because like it's like such a shell of what it could be, like red mage or something, where you have like 3 parts of the combo instead of like 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah. I am kind of worried about that, because people have gone like, people have even told me Samurai sucks at like level 50 or 60 or something, and they're like, oh, wait till you get to 90, it's way better. And then I'm going, hold on, I'm enjoying this. I kind of don't want to get to 90 and then negatively look back on any of these jobs, because I'm enjoying this now, and then I'm worried about getting to 90 and then going and doing any older content and not enjoying it, because it's like like you say, a shell of what you could have. So it's a weird experience, but it's probably easier to tune, especially with the sort of like time walking, the scaled content, the fact that you can. I was
gonna say,
it's probably
you rather
just
it works like time walking, where it's just like you just have a multiplier on you, like, okay, you do 10% of your normal damage, but your rotation's fully there. Yeah. Because I don't know what's the best. That's fine.
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't even gonna say anything too great there, but yeah, I don't know what's best either, because the one thing I am for sure about is whatever they are doing to make it so you can go and scale back content and play it at like a reasonable challenge. That needs, like, that's the baby of Final Fantasy that needs to be nurtured and held on to, like, just
it's a huge thing.
You know, don't shake the baby, but just hold it tight, but not too tight. Just just hold on to it, because it's a beautiful experience in the game.
Yeah, I like, one part of me kind of likes the whole idea of like there are several different variations of the same job. So, like, I can play Dragoon in 5 different ways, at 50, 60, 70.
And none of them have AoE.
Yeah, none of them do. Yeah, Doomspike. Woo! Yeah, I still don't have my second part of my AoE combo. I'm like 62. I'm 62, and I still just have Doomspike. And it's like, 3 targets, bam, Doomspike.
Yeah.
Cool. Got to line them up, knock them down. Line them up, knock them down. Yeah, definitely, like, not my favorite part of Dragoon, but I did enjoy the whole, like, I thought the rotation was fine in like Coils, for example. I had a 3-part combo and I had a 2-part combo, and it was fine. But now people are like, I'm getting a little bit more, so I got like the 4th part of the main combo, and I'm getting like the 3rd part of the second combo.
Yeah.
And now, like, my understanding of it was there's like 2 5-part combos, but I think they just generally kind of like get played back to back anyway. So it's like you do like combo 1, combo 2, combo 2, combo 1, combo 2, combo 2, and that's like the end game rotation, where it's just like, so I was talking through my keybinds the other day, going like, oh well, I have these like fucked up keybinds. I'm like, oh yeah, I go like 1 shift 2 T 5 G control 7, like that's like my opener and stuff like that. And it's like all 7. Over the place. Yeah, no, it's not actually, but like it's something around there, like, because like True North's in there and things like that off the global, if I need to use it. And then people are like, oh, mine's just 1 2 3 4 alt 1 alt 2 alt 2 alt 3 alt 4.
They're lying to you, Russ. Theirs is just number 1 or number 2, because they're using third-party tools in order for the game to automatically shift their button to their ability to the next ability in the combo. So I
Wait,
know
what?
this. Yeah. I don't know if
No
it's
way.
a macro or if it's a third-party tool. It might be just a macro, but
I heard
yeah,
macros are like a big no-no for combat. Like they're only good for crafting.
yeah, I've heard that as well. Yeah.
So about clipping, I think.
Yeah, yes. Grimov in my chat, but rotation is 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1. I got a friend who plays like that. I've heard stories of the press
So
one.
he is calling me out.
Yeah, there you go.
A lot of people were defensive on that one though.
What do you mean?
So it might, like they were saying like no we don't, we just play. I don't know if it was like a sarcastic or like a straight up like no.
No,
I
like
to press
obviously
the
not
buttons.
not
There's probably a
100%
few
of people do that.
No,
Obviously not, but like I'm saying I'm joking. Like this is what they do. They just press one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'm not gonna tell Yoshi P. I'm not gonna get you banned. Yeah, I've just had the thing with like Samurai, for example, where I've just unlocked disability Q10, which is like the off GCD resource spender of my AoE rotation, and the AoE portion of my rotation now feels phenomenal, where I just feel like it feels sort of like a WoW rotation, where it's just when I have my cooldowns for it, you just have like every moment there's just something happening where you're just doing damage. So it's really feels really good now with Samurai. But that's what I was getting at as well, is I think as long as a job feels complete, like it feels like you have your full toolkit early enough, I think that's the main thing, right? Like you want a good single target rotation, good AoE rotation, couple defensives, couple cooldowns, and then you're like, okay, cool. And then it doesn't matter whether that rotation is at like level 30 or level 60 or level 90. It's like even if it doesn't do much damage, as long as you have your base toolkit of everything, you feel like a complete class, right? Like, would you agree with that? Or that's the way I feel.
As long as you have like something to go off like a rotation, I'm kind of fine. Like I quite like that it's quite staggered out. Like I have something to look forward to when I hit my 5th, in ARR it's like every 5 levels, but then it becomes every 2 in Heavensward. I feel like that was almost too quick, but I suppose I'm much higher level than I'm supposed to be because of like the XP you get from MSQ. But I do quite like being like, each time I get a new ability, I'm like, oh well, now I need to change up my whole bars and like figure out this. Like it's a blessing and a curse in a way, like because keybinds is kind of my weak point. And Dragoon has a lot of buttons. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, well now, like I had in my head, I have like this 1-2-3 combo, and I have this other 3-part combo, and that's kind of like I'm living life, I'm chilling, I've got it down, and then it's like, oh, well now I have another whole ability to throw into the mix, and it's a flanking ability, so it's like now I got to think about like positioning and this. I just think it generally probably makes you better.
By the way,
yeah, I did. Like,
I got a position like I'm behind.
Like behind, flank, back to the back. Yeah.
Flank. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like it, but it also, for me personally, it causes me problems, and I'm someone who like does keybind and stuff. So I imagine if there's anyone that clicks, well, probably easier for a clicker because
I think clicking in FF is probably all right because the long GCD, right? I guess with OGCDs it's probably a bit.
Well, you probably keybind OGCDs and then like click your main abilities.
Maybe, yeah.
I imagine that would probably be playable. The only problem is obviously moving and doing that is going to be where it starts to get rough.
Yeah, I've got a friend who clicks, but he plays BM Hunter, so that probably like helps. But he played Machinist as well, so there you go. Maybe that's just like the way you go about it.
Maybe yeah.
Do you know, by the way? I know we were talking about Dragoons a little bit. Do you know? So chat made me level. Well, they didn't make me level Dragoon, but they advised me heavily to level Dragoon for Heavensward. So I was like, okay, all right, like I'll do it. I want to play a new melee anyway, so sure.
Yep.
I leveled all the way up to 60, 50 or whatever. Did all the job quests. Got everything sorted. Boom, ready for Heavensward. There's like one bit of text that changes for being a Dragoon.
Yep.
And do you want to know what it is, Russ? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, sometimes he says, oh, well, with 2 Azure Dragoons. Justinian. He said it 1 time so far.
Yeah, sometimes on Azure Dragoon, he just says Azure Dragoons. Like, he just adds an S onto the voice line.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And they made me play like an extra 15 hours of content for an S.
Hey, strong S. You'd like to be S tier?
S tier? Dude, I'd love to be S tier one day.
Well, like there's a cutscene like right before well, like it's right before, no, it's after ARR. It's like the first one of Heavensward,
Where
and
he's
like
standing on the
Asinian
spikes?
walks in.
Oh,
I don't
okay, no,
remember.
no, no.
Like he walks in. He walks into like no, not that one. It's like after Nanamo goes down and stuff, and you get pulled back to Koathas, and like they're like, okay, we're gonna save Ishgard or whatever. Like these are the refugees, and Asinian walks in. And he goes, "Don't worry, Russ. I'm not here to fight you today." Like, and obviously that's based on the fact that you're playing Dragoon and you're 50 or whatever.
I mean, that's kind of cool. I like that.
There's that line, and then the only time he goes like, well, with 2 Azure Dragoons, but the rest of Heavensward, I've been like, why does he keep calling me Warrior of Light? Like, he keeps being like, I am the Azure Dragoon. I'm like, bro, I'm right here. Like, I've been getting referred to like Albrecht, I think he's called, the Dragoon trainer. Like, he calls me that, but Estinian's like, no, it's me. So I thought he was like egoing me. But then there was like a point like a day or two ago where he was like, well, we got 2 Azure Dragoons, so we can surely take down Nidhogg. And I'm like, oh, okay, is that the line? I think that's the thing.
Yeah. I think they just squeeze him in here and there.
Yeah. It's not often at all. Not as often as I thought. Like you said, the impression I got was, okay, it's very much like you have to be a Dragoon for it. And I get like the fantasy wise, like you're hunting down dragons. It does feel cool to be a Dragoon. Like all of the Ishgardians are like Dragoons and Machinists.
No, it's definitely cool for that reason. But it mine got built up in terms of like changing of the quest experience of thing, where I was I thought the story might differ in some way.
Yeah.
But it was like still worth leveling Dragoon. I just like. Oh, dude, it's so... I am joking about 99% of the things that I say, but I'm so aware that, like, not everyone realizes that, and they probably think that I'm genuinely upset about leveling Dragoon, but no, it was good to do, and I've not played it much since. I think I prefer some of the other melee, but yeah, it was cool to try. I might even try it at a later level. I've heard it gets a lot of abilities and stuff, so might be something to look forward to.
It's got a lot of OGCDs and, like, 2 big combos, I think. So
yeah,
like where I'm at now, I have like 4 or 5 OGCDs, which are up like, you don't think about it when they're like a 40-second cooldown or something, but because you've got so many and you're like working your combo, like they come around quite quick. So you are like always doing something, and then you've got the choice to make with like which one you buff for like crit chance, and then you've got like 10% AoE crit buff and stuff for the whole team. It is nice. Like the more I play of it, the more I'm like, oh, this could potentially be a main, like even at late level, right?
Yeah.
Like before I was like, I'm just doing it because it's quite a set in stone rotation, so it's something that I can just kind of like with Demon Hunter and WoW, like I can kind of just brain AFK, play it and focus on other things, or reading chat or talking or whatever, making my points and blabbering.
Yeah, for sure.
The more I play, I'm like, oh, it's getting interesting. I watched the Dragoon retrospective video by Mr. Happy, and he talked through like all the changes all the changes that have been made to it over the year, and they pretty much nailed it like first time around with like what they were going for. They've just iterated on it slightly. But like there's a big thing, like you maintain a buff. It's kind of like Sinful Brand, except it's on you and not what you're against. So like that was like what sucked with Sinful Brand, is like you put it up and if it drops you're screwed, like your damage is gone, but you're like buffing yourself, and then you have like a window of a buff to like use these things, and you're like, you stack up the buff higher and higher the better that you do your rotation, and then the better that you hit your rotation, like more time you have on the buff, and then you can like use the buff as a currency, so you can like use an extra OGCD and it'll take 15 seconds off your buff. So like the better you maintain your buff, the more OGC extra hits you can get in, kind of thing.
So it's kind of in a way, it's sort of like a Shadow Priest as well, and I guess like do you like build up like a sort of gauge and then you can expend it? And
I think so. I haven't got the gauge yet, but I think that's how it generally works. If I didn't misunderstand that video, that was old Dragoon. He got reworked.
I thought
they pulled something in. I think it's small if they are. I think generally it seems to play quite
They're
well.
removing the
people
S.
are quite happy with it. Yeah, like there was something with it like that, but I thought they brought part of that forward, and now you have like a big thing, and then you have this like big AoE ability at the end of your combo, which just like slams down, and so it sounds kind of cool. But
I think I've seen
I'm
that.
only
I think
playing
I've seen like a bit. Maybe it's the LB3 that I've seen or something. But I've done a
Yeah.
dungeon with Astinian, and he's doing all Dragoons. He stole my LB. He stole my LB once actually. We were doing a dungeon.
Can you steal it?
Well, yeah,
you
yeah.
do the duty call or whatever.
Yeah, the NPC. Well, I did an NPC dungeon because it was a big story one, and I was like, oh, this could actually be pretty cool. I've never tried one. Like, let me try it. And I did it, and there's a clip of me on the boss, and I'm gonna do my LB, and then I try and press my button. I'm like, wait, why isn't it working? And then I look over, and Astinian's there, just like, just goes like crazy mode. And I was like, bro, what? He's just helping me pass, I guess. He's helping me log better.
Yeah, I mean, he is taking a DPS loss.
Yep. Thanks,
for that.
Astinian.
Yeah.
What a hero. By the way, Russ, I've just realized as well, we should probably do a Q&A if we're wanting to do any Q&A today. I completely forgot.
Yeah, we can.
Does anyone, if anyone in your chat has any questions, if anyone in my chat has any questions, maybe we'll do, because we've been going about an hour and 20-ish now. I don't know if we want to do maybe like 10, 15 of Q&A and then like see what we got, and then we can call things there.
Let's do it.
Yeah, cool. Well, if anyone in chat, and even in game as well, I don't know if they want to line up in front of the cage or something in order to get their question in.
Yeah, come line up on the red carpet, or just type it in either of our Twitch chats, and we'll pick some from in-game and some from chat. Or you can just type them in the general like /say chat in game, and we'll just pick anything that looks good. Because sometimes people line up and we wait for them to type, and then they're like, "When you showing your ass?" And it's like, "Oh, we waited."
Whereas you just want them to
we
still
waited
be
10 minutes.
Seated when they say that, yeah.
Well, yeah, because then they're like lower down, you know.
Yeah. That's why I need the
favorite
chat bubbles.
Scion. Oh, this might be different depending on where we're at in the story. So,
favorite Scion. Why don't you go first? Because I've experienced more of them. I can kind of like more time with them, you know. Or have I? No.
I don't really. I don't know if I like many of the Scions. Probably Urianger. Urianger is my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Most involved. He was the guy who led me to all the trials. He speaks funny, although I know he's a bit like, we saw a cutscene with him being sussy with Scions, so I'm not sure. But I still think he's so far my favorite. Okay. I did do a tier list of all the NPCs at the end of ARR, so that's like a photograph taken of like how I feel about everybody. And then
so you just said you don't like any of them, and then they all died, and you're like, cool, yep, nice.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, well, I don't think any of them died, but like, I think Minfilia sucks, Papalimo sucks, Ida's cool, Thancred's getting cooler. Who else is there? Yastrola has done literally nothing. At least because I didn't start in.
Bro, she introduced you to the Scions. What do you mean? She finds you in the cave with the big Gubu guy.
No, that's because you started in Limsa.
Oh.
Yeah, for me, she's just been standing in the background like, yo. Like, for me, it was Papalimo and Ida. And Ida was kind of cute, but Papalimo is like, he's done nothing. The biggest thing he did was give Ida an LB3. That was it. And then, who else? Like, Thancred's getting a little bit better because he's doing some like ninja stuff and whatnot. And then, is that it? And then Urianger was like, he was part of the Coil stuff. He's like looking after, he's like warding, you know, Alfie, Alisei. He's like got all the information on all the primals. Like, he seems like the most involved, but then again, he seems also now the most sus. So I don't know.
Okay. What about Alisei?
Yeah, she's cool. I need to see her some more though. I mean,
you saw her a lot in Coils, right?
Yeah. I mean, that was her thing, I suppose. Like, I liked her attitude towards wanting to uncover the truth and things like that, so that's good.
Okay.
I like Alfie a little bit more now. Like, I like his character development. At least he's definitely had the biggest glow up so far.
I think Alfie in Heavensward is like way better. Like, he sort of takes more of command. Like, he makes mistakes.
Yeah.
But he's sort of like, hey, look, I messed up. but he's trying. You know, I like his character development.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I mean, he came from pathetic little useless boy to I'm trying, guys, but it doesn't work out for me every time, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, which you know, I can't be upset with that. I still tell him to shut up every time I see him on screen, just because like I feel that way. But also I like him. You know, I'm like, I like you, man, but shut up, Alphino. You know,
shut up, Alphino.
So I can't really comment too much on, like, I can give a favorite Scion. I can't go into too much detail as to like really anything about them though, because just where I'm at in the story, like I don't want to reveal if any are dead, not dead, and then if like some of them have had a glow up or like have improved. I can't really say why, you know, because it will give things away. I will say I do like Alice. I think she's quite cool. I'm just thinking if maybe I give like my Heavensward and ARR opinion of these, or if I just give my current opinion. I think Alice currently I do really like, and I'm trying to think of who else I've really like. I actually like Pablimo, and I'm talking in general, like ARR, Heavensward. I like Pablimo.
Okay.
I kind of like him. Like he just sort of like his attitude was just like, yo, let's get into it, man. Like he was just the muscle, you know. He was just, yeah, I think so. Like at times, like obviously he didn't have much screen time, but whenever he was there, he seemed like up for it. And then he was a bit harsh with Ida.
Yeah, he always is. Yeah.
But apart from that, I was like, yeah, I think he was like trying to prepare her for stuff. You know what I mean? He's like trying to be that like harsh big brother or something. Again, like a Cindy and Alfie relationship.
Ida's there on the sports scholarship. You know, she's just there to punch walls and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, that's calming about her too. You know.
Yeah. I'm thinking Tataru's growing on me as a drunk. I kind of like her character. Like in Heavensward, I like how she's just like, alright then lads, I'll be at the pub getting all the information, you guys go fucking have it.
Yeah. She's living the life as a refugee.
Yeah. I like Tataru. Tataru's pretty cool. Yeah. I think, I don't know who's my favorite though right now. I think Alice I do quite like quite a bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have a question, or should I read another?
I don't have any at the moment. Yeah, so you can go on.
All right. Yeah, anyone in game, just chuck a question in the /say chat if you have any. You know, that you want to hear our take on. What non-story content are you two most excited to do that you've heard about but not reached yet? For me, that's probably Ultimates. UCOB specifically. But yeah, Ultimates in general.
Why UCOB? Just because you've done coils and so
just because I want to start. Like I know most people start UU because it's considered easier or whatever, but I just want to start. I want to start UCOB just for the kind of throwback of it right now.
Yeah.
See how it changes. Like I've watched a little reaction to it and stuff as well, which looked great. Like just seeing all those pieces, kind of like, and how the fight and how it's all linked, and you know the chains of like combos almost that the boss is doing and stuff like that. Just looks really interesting and fun to progress. I'm not 100% sure how I'll do it on stream, but like I'm not gonna do it blind, but I'm not sure if I make it like a long-term thing where it's like over a few months, just like here and there. I'll do a UCOB day, or if it's like we're doing UCOB for the next 3 weeks kind of thing, or however long it takes, because people might
depends what kind of players you bring in.
By that.
You know? Depends what you want to make of it. If you want it to be just like an experience, but you're not really too bothered about needing to like, because I don't think you're gonna go into an ultimate and solo cook everything.
No,
like,
no.
In a time efficient manner.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to do it blind. Even like I want to go in with a strat and try and just execute, rather than like go and work out like what's the best way to do this, because then it's gonna take 4 times or 5 times longer or something, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather go in with a plan and be like, this is how it works. You just need
that would be like going into
like a
WoW where you'd go into Mythic having not done any research. Like just no guild does that. You just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fair going into normal or heroic and not having seen the bosses before or anything, and it's like, yeah, cool. Same like, you know, you can go into some of the other content blind, but I think for an ultimate, it's like, nah, you probably need to go in with a guide and yeah.
Well, it's like world first rating essentially, like
Yeah.
going in and just like they don't have a guide or anything, so they got to cook it all and whatnot. But
Yeah.
like, while that's cool, that's the reason I never wanted to do or even strive to go towards world first rating, because like it just takes so many hours, and I think like everyone has a breaking point, and mine is much before the boss dies. I think in that kind of thing.
Sure.
You can you can vintage, but it's, you know, you need to be in it for the long haul. Like, it's perfectly acceptable and fine to do it blind, and if you've got 8 people on the same wavelength who want to do it that way and just be like, this is a long-term thing, we're going to do this over the course of a year, great. But for like me, like, I could do it blind and then maybe like do it some bits off stream and this and that, but if I want to make it kind of like epic and glorious, I want to do the prog on stream, but I don't want it to take like, okay, I'm carving out 6 months of my stream schedule to try and do a blind
Scream schedule. I bet you do have a scream schedule. Yeah.
That's on the other website.
Yeah. Oh, I meant just, yeah, okay. I didn't mean that kind of, but okay. Yeah, I think that's the thing for me with Ultimates. Like, that's my plan as well, in a way. What I will probably, so I want to do Uwu blind, but none of the others. But I want to do
definitely
Uwu
the ones to do blind,
because apparently it's the easiest one. But my plan is to, like, I'm either going to do it completely blind, but I sort of doubt it'll be fully blind. What I think it'll more so be is I'll only watch up to a certain point and then like execute it and then prog the next bit and then sort of watch a guide onto how to do it. Does that sort of, like, I think that's sort of my strategy, where I won't watch the full video. I'll sort of unlock a little bit at a time.
A phase, right.
And then like try and like do my best with that phase and then watch a guide to like progress us through a bit quicker, and then try and cook the next phase and then watch a guide to sort of be like, oh, how close was I to the money? Something along like, those lines. So it's like
cook
partial...
until cook until you like feel it's exhausted, like you're at like I don't know now, like we're stuck here now, like we've wiped at the same point 40 times, maybe it's time to, like, it's like following a walkthrough on a game, right? Like, you want to do it yourself, but then you're like, okay, let me just check, like, I've been here for 3 hours now, let me just check the guide real quick. Oh, okay, it's over there. All right, cool. Now I'll close the guide and I'll go back to doing it, and then when you next get stuck, check again, kind of
It's sort of like when you're rock climbing. I don't know anything about rock climbing, but you know when they like put the extra little hold in so that if they fall, they only fall like a little bit, and then you know what I mean? It's like instead of just full free climbing, I'm like putting the extra little, I'm putting the little nail in. So it's like I'm sort of just like protecting, like not protecting, but like just having a little bit of assistance in that area, but still sort of going on my own at the same time. Yeah, that's sort of my plan with Ultimates, roughly. But when I'm going to do them, I'm not sure yet. Who knows? Maybe after Endwalker or Dawntrail, or maybe after Stormblood, like before Shadowbringers. I don't know. But yeah, content that I'm looking... So what was the question? It was, what content are we looking forward to outside of the MSQ?
Yeah, just stuff that we haven't unlocked yet that we're looking forward to doing. Doesn't even have to be outside MSQ or anything like that.
You said raiding already. I think, honestly, the answer for me will also be raiding and, like, high-level content in the game, criterions and stuff. But just to get a sort of different answer, I'm really excited about being caught up in the game. And, so, like, I want to maybe be ready for Dawntrail for the launch, give or take a few weeks, so that then I can feel a new expansion experience with everyone else in the community. Because I think that's something very for me, I can remember where I was, and I can remember the opening night of pretty much like every WoW expansion that's ever launched. And I just think expansion launches are such a special, exciting time in an MMO's like life. So being able to indulge in that would be fantastic, rather than looking at it from a very, very far away distance and going, I can't really like get excited about that because I'm nowhere close to it. So for me, I would say maybe like checking out Dawntrail as this new expansion, new experience. I'm really excited for with everyone.
Yeah. So when the expansion comes, are you planning to just play it day one? Or are you,
No,
or are you gonna?
see, it's the weird
It's like the
thing,
weird thing
'cause
with streaming and stuff, isn't it?
with FF, apparently you're not supposed to stream the expansion MSQ,
Yeah, for like
but
2
you
weeks.
can, yeah, for like 2 weeks, but you can do the new jobs.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna be ready for Dawntrail, especially since I'm like moving to Japan in like a month, and I'm gonna have upheaval, and like I'm probably gonna have to do some weird thing where I play MSQ currently on EU, but then I make a separate character for Japanese data center, so all of my high level content is in like on the Japanese data center, which then means that I'm being grouped with Japanese players, and I don't speak Japanese. So
yeah. Also,
good.
they do things very differently.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah.
So you might just want to play EU anyway.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
then I'll
you
have
should
to...
play both, but
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna stop doing MSQ on EU. But yeah, that'll be an interesting one. That'll be an interesting one.
I think. Well, I mean, do you have many Japanese data center players in your chat? Because you'll find it harder to do stuff with chat as well. Yeah.
I think a couple, and like Oceania and stuff, or Oceanic data center players.
Yeah.
As well, so I think they're same time zone. So I'll figure something out there, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, true, because you'll have to stream it in the middle of the night or something.
Well, no, it's actually pretty good. It's like if I did, so I'm gonna stream like 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Japan time, which is prime time NA, but it's like really shit for EU.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna figure something out for EU. Like I don't know.
If you want to hit this window, you'd have to stream at like 9 p.m. I think.
Yeah.
Japan time or something.
I'd have to stream like, well, Japan's like 8 hours ahead. So if I wanted to stream during my normal time, I would have to stream at like 6 or 7 p.m. Japan, and then that would be my normal stream time. But I can't because of noise complaints.
Oh.
They are very funny about noise complaints over there, like paper thin walls as well. So it's, and I'm like, oh, hey guys, welcome to the stream. I'm super loud, so it's a bit of a difficult one. So I'll
you had a rough time doing it in even at like Race 12 first, didn't you? Like with the noise and stuff, or like you didn't feel like you could play FF that much.
Yeah, when I went to the Race 12 first and I was streaming, and there was 3 of us streaming in one room, but it was super quiet. So it was I did not feel comfortable streaming at the Race 12 first because of that reason. Like, you don't want to be talking at normal volume and then there's someone sitting right next to you also trying to stream.
Oh, so, no,
yeah. Very not so comfortable. Yeah. Dope. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. You planning on trying the exploratory zones, Eureka, Boja, when you unlock them? Absolutely, I am. I'm looking forward to that. I've heard really good things, so I unlock Eureka soon when I finish Stormblood, so I'm really looking forward to it. You, Russ?
Yeah, like I've heard a lot of people say they either really don't like it or they really do like those kind of things, like those zones.
Yeah.
For me, I don't see a reason I wouldn't enjoy it. For me, it's like, okay, cool, another piece of content to do, and I'm gonna do it like as I get there, right? Like, look the Skelter off, finish Stormblood, try, was it Eureka?
Eureka, yeah.
Yeah, and then Boja when I get through Shadowbringers and like stop and start rather than just like pummeling through MSQ and then going back. That's like my plan at least. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's just like, one extra piece. The only thing that I haven't really done from ARR is like Blue Mage, Hildebrand, and Palace. It's like the only 3 things I can really think of that I didn't touch.
Yeah, Hildebrand's hard because so I did some of Hildebrand, but I had to stop because I do MSQ, which, as you know, is pretty heavily taxing, like sort of fatiguing, like mentally, because you're like talking so much and trying to go through a lot of heavy text and like interpret it all. It's not like you're just reading it and not thinking about it. And then you go and do Hildebrand, and it's like there's so much text. It's funny, it's good content, but you don't want to break with more of the same thing. So it's like I want to fit it in post MSQ when I have like when I don't have any stuff to read anymore, I can enjoy that.
Right.
Yeah,
for me, similar thing. I was planning to do it after I finished post ARR, but I just because of the whole Heavensward 2023 thing, I wanted to like get into that, and everyone was like, "You can't stop now. You've just finished like patch 2.5 or whatever." So, and I was like, "Yeah, maybe I should just." Like, people were like, "Oh, you should do it between 2.3 and 2.4 because 2.4 to 2.5 to 2.55 is all like one big like it's all crescendoing and stuff."
Yeah.
So I was like, there was no real good point for it, so I just thought I'll go back to do it. So it's kind of on my to-do list thing, but
Yeah.
I was planning to like take a break from the Heavensward MSQ to fit in some Hildebrand, but I don't think that also works because like the Heavensward MSQ just I realize it kind of just goes.
I took a break for 3.4 and 3.5. So I finished so I did 3.0 and then immediately did 3.1, 2 and 3. And then I took a break. So I sort of concluded Heavensward and then did Stormblood. What I would warn you about is the thing with Stormblood is, like, once it starts, it don't stop, bro. Like, it's just, like, action. Like, just there's things always happening. So if you're gonna do it, like go through it properly, you know, don't, like you want to have the time. You don't want to, like, jump into Stormblood and then be, like, you know, going and doing all these other different chores and stuff. You want to just, like, focus on Stormblood.
I think if I do break up, I'll do it like after 3.0. So I'll take a break between post and finish. You're nodding like I won't be able to do that.
No, you're good.
Does it finish like the base story and then you're like, okay, and that's like you could take a break there, or is
what,
it like,
with
I
where?
need to know the next thing?
Heavensward,
yeah.
At
like
base
end of 3.3 into post. No, 3.0, like base Heavensward into post.
I'm trying to think now of 3.0 and what happens in 3.1, 2, and 3.
It's probably fine. Like that's
I can't remember. I can't
finishes,
like
right?
compartmentalize which was which patch, but I just remember like wanting to do the full completion of 3.3, like straight start to finish, and that was really fun. That was really fun.
I mean, I guess with how the expansion is designed, you're supposed to wait there anyway because there's patches. Like you have to wait on patches, right? So, like credits will roll, and then you kind of get to fuck around for a few months before the patch comes.
Yeah.
So it should be a good enough point to maybe squeeze in some Hildy.
Yeah. You could do like Hildy break there if you wanted to. And
I'll probably do Hildy and the raid.
You'll have Savage. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Savage takes some time as well because there's a lot of story connected to Savage.
Yeah.
Or
so maybe
just the raid in general. Sorry, the normal raid.
Yeah. So maybe like finishing the base game each time will be my like break point, and then go explore other areas and then go back, do some story again.
Yeah. That's like what I did. And I thought that was
MSQ sandwich. Yeah.
Well, MSQ sandwich. Yeah, I think that's good. Right, Rusty boy, should we call it there because we're approaching like the hour 45, probably closer to like 2 hour mark on the podcast. I know we don't want to go too long because then we'll have a 4 hour episode, you know. Any final last thoughts that you wanted to give? I know this was just like another reintroductory episode for us, episode 6. Another sort of general discussion around a lot of stuff, but this was really good, man. I feel like we covered a lot of various different things and touched on a lot of stuff, which was fun.
Yeah, it's nice doing like a general episode now and then, just because it kind of like gauges where our heads are at down our journey, right? Like we're like 4 to 5 months in, something like that. So
we're
it's like,
almost 6 months in.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, I think I'm 6 months in. I started August, like end of August. Math?
Yeah. Math. That's the 7th. Yeah. No, I think I'm 5 months in.
But you started 2
this is a noteworthy
weeks?
person who's
2
known
weeks
in the
after
community.
me?
Yeah.
I'm like approaching 6 months, I think. I saw the other day I was at 150 days subbed. I think I'm at like, I must be at like 160, 165, something like that. Now. Yeah, something like that.
It's a long time. It goes quick.
I'm
only in Heavensward, baby.
It's weird because it's like I can't wait to be done with everything, but I also don't want it to end at the same time. The pacing of it is also weird, you know.
It's not like you're looking forward to the end. It's more that you just really want to consume it, right? Like yeah, it's like, oh, I just want to keep consuming all this content, but you also don't want it to end.
It's just like a really nice, like, I don't know, like a really nice dessert or something, or like a really nice meal where you're really enjoying it, but you're gonna be sad when it's over. But wait, in that example, also, I'm also looking forward to being over. Wait, hold on, no. I'm enjoying it now. I don't want it to be over, but I also can't wait to experience all of it. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Big.
But yeah, that's it from. That's how I feel. That's it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll do the sort of end of episode. Thank you everyone for watching Between Two Sprouts episode 6. We should have another episode in like 2 weeks, as we do them every 2 weeks. And the subject matter is TBD. We don't know yet. We will let you know. We might have a guest. We might not. TBD.
We'll see.
But yeah, thank you everyone for watching on YouTube. Boom.